so there's no presentation on the screens?
Nope.
Should be recording right now.
We're good. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure. So sorry.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Porter County Election Board to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Member Chittister?
Here.
Member Tim?
Here.
Vice President?
Here.
President Roush?
Here.
Secretary Bailey here.
Clerk's report.
Early vote will be open Monday through Saturday, starting this week. It will be, so the schedule for the last 2 weeks is the mobile vote will be out at Couts on Tuesday and Luke's on Thursdays. And then this Saturday, the 27th, it'll be at Jamestown Apartments. And on May 4th, it'll be at the South Haven Library. And then that will round out the early voting for this season. It ends at noon on May 6th. And then May 7th is Election Day. We have our sticker contest. If everybody remembers our sticker contest.
Yes.
It's going underway. We have about 1,500 of them out throughout the county. So a lot of the teachers, they were really well received. Some of the Boys and Girls Clubs picked up on them, the YMCA's did. So we're starting to get them back. They're all due on May 1st, so they're starting to trickle in. And it's pretty exciting to see them, all the designs that the little ones are coming up with. They're pretty neat. We also have a Facebook profile frame. So if any of you have voted and you have a Facebook profile, Tara made the frame and it says, I voted 24 primary, and you can put that over your Facebook picture. So not only do you get a sticker, but you can also change your profile. So it's kind of like civic awareness, and we just posted on our Facebook that we have that opportunity for people, and it's starting to kick off already. So I saw a lot of people changing their profiles this afternoon. So that was pretty neat to see. That's all I have.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think, did you read them up there? I'm no Sunday Shun, and I know that, but I'm going to do my best. Things are in full swing at the office. Everything's underway. You know, e-poll books are being cleaned and packed, and supplies are being replenished, and it's just fun to see the buzz a few weeks out. ABS, today's the last day to turn in absentee by mail app, so we feel those kind of pouring in, and we're managing those. And then travel boards doing awesome. I think we're 8 locations have been visited already, 140 participants in that, so everything's going well there too. Other than that, everything's just as to be expected with, you know, so many days beforehand, so everything's looking good. And then, we're gonna meet and have a conversation about the video production for the instructional videos here soon, so that's exciting too. So lots of fun stuff.
How about turnout? What's turnout been like?
So far for early voting, I mean, it seems to be, you know, I think maybe a tick lower than maybe we had anticipated it being, but seeing, you know, as there's maybe not a lot of contested races at that national level, we're just not seeing what we maybe would hope to, but still, I mean, I still don't think terrible, but what do I know? But
Slow across the state.
Yeah.
I've talked to different clerks across the state, and it's slow across the statewide.
Yeah.
I mean, one, it's a primary, and we have to remember that as far as early voting's concerned, but it's, for some reason, nobody's really getting into it, so that's why we're trying to do different things to engage people and make it a little bit more fun.
yeah.
And it's gonna be enough you think to shake out that we're ready for the general with the vote centers and all of that? We're gonna get enough data in to make sure we're ready for the fall?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've had votes at every location. We weren't getting a whole lot of votes at the new NERC location, and it's still slower than any of the other locations. So we started making some Facebook posts and social media posts, letting people know that there's 0 waiting there, and people seem to like that. It did get a couple more votes right away, because we can watch that come in. Still not as much as everybody else, but it's a brand-new location.
Right.
It's off the beaten path, so it's a little bit more difficult to find. But again, it's the first time there. First time in any location is
Right.
slower than normal.
Might need a bigger sign out there.
Mhm.
That little sign, you know, I mean, I looked for it, but if you weren't looking for it and stuff like this, it's kind of a small campaign sign size, you know?
We thought about moving one of the big vote signs there, but it doesn't have an arrow. So we didn't want to put that there, because then it's like, okay, where do you go from there? But we are looking at something bigger, but at the same time, we don't want the wind to be able to catch it and it fly and hit a car as it's
Yeah.
driving by. We don't want that. So the sandwich board sign won't work, because it's just gonna collapse with the wind right there, with all the traffic. So we're trying to come up with something. There's gotta be some type of a sign. We're just not seeing it yet. But maybe one of the bigger 3x4s, or with the heavier duty posts, something like that. Then we have to worry about storage, but we've got a bigger storage facility now, so that might be something that we can work with.
Yeah, you come up with a bigger sign, Paul and I'll go out and put it up.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Okay.
I got posts and post
Well,
holes.
Jeff will do it and I'll watch. That's
We might take you up on
Every
that.
campaign I've been in is like that, man.
All right, thank you. Everyone should have received the prior minutes electronically. If there's no questions or amendments to those meetings, minutes, I would move acceptance thereof. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Campaign finance reports.
I don't know that you have anybody here. So let me kind of take care of the things that we can in light of the fact we don't have folks here. One of the people who's on the list is Bob Cotton. And I actually got a message from him this morning to say that the call came from Dillon Schools. I think he substitutes there. And I think he said he was going to be late. So my assumption is
His intention is to get here.
his intention is to get here. So
Okay,
we can hold that one off.
okay.
But I have before you, and we have several waivers, and we can go through dealing with the waivers. The first one is Ferdinand Alvarez, and I think he's already made his payment too, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if you want to take a motion to accept the voluntary payment agreement and waiver of hearing for $100 for Ferdinand Alvarez, that's your first one.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Your next one would be, same thing, the voluntary payment and waiver is with Penny Ambler, and this is for $70. And I believe she's already made her payment.
Motion to accept that one.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The next one that you have on waiver is with the committee to elect John Vanderberg, I think I'm saying that correct, and this is in the amount of $10.
Paid?
Yes, I believe it's been paid. I should note that I had a conversation with him, and he wanted it to be known that he was concerned with the fact that he ended up turning it in late because it wasn't in by noon, but it was on that same day. And he expressed concern that the amendments, or the request for amendments took 90 days by the board, and he was taking issue with that. And I tried to explain to him that we rely on, the good work of Kennard. I tried to explain to him that Kennard had been in the hospital. There were some other things that we typically try to get that a lot sooner, but that was kind of the reason. But he wanted to make sure that the board was aware that he was not happy with how long it took to get the amendments back to him. So I'm informing you of his concern.
Duly noted.
And I would comment that that's a voluntary thing that this board does that we're under no obligation to do. So, I mean, that's to assist him in making sure that the campaign finance reports that he files are accurate. Which I'm sure you stressed to him probably a couple times, Monica. But yeah.
I did stress that. He happens to be an attorney. He had, and I said, well, if you want to come to the board yourself and express it,
Certainly.
you're welcome to do that. I'm trying to make this easy for you. Because he was upset, I even offered if he wanted to bring his payment and this waiver to me, I would deliver it for him because his office is not far from my office. And we were, yes, but I think he finally decided to come in and make payment himself. So, yeah, so $10 on that waiver. And he doesn't have to be here.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All right, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, we also have, we don't have a waiver for Becky Lamborghini.
She did sign the waiver and she did make a payment. However, she made her payment with a personal check. And so I've called her and informed her that she needs to use a money order or cash or a cashier's check, and asked her to rectify that situation. And that I left that message earlier today and I have not heard back from her.
So I suggest that we hold that one over for next month.
Agreed.
Jennifer Hargue actually called me yesterday. It was in the middle of a conference that I was in. I told her I'd call her back, and then I didn't get a chance to call her back before I ended my day. I would suggest and she owes $10. She was also late once before. So I would suggest that we hold that one over to next month as well.
Do you need a motion to that effect? To hold those over?
Sure.
Now, holding those over, I do want to note that our meeting next month is at noon on the 17th. So it is a little bit different.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, which takes us down to the ones that are remaining are Dane LaFada, who is a name that has been before the board before, and Mr. Cotton, who I had said earlier in the meeting, called me and left a message, said he might be a little bit late, and I see him now. So he is here. So if you want to go ahead and do your
All right, should I
introduction.
read into the record?
Sure.
All right, we are here today to hear information concerning the delinquent and/or defective filing of annual reports by several people. The hearing was set by the board at our prior meeting. Public notice of this meeting has been provided. This matter is being recorded, and I am requesting that the county clerk please ensure that the audio recording of these proceedings are maintained as part of the record. The matters that have been set forth before us today involve Indiana Code IC 39417. Section A requires that any person who fails to file with the county election board a report in the manner required under IC 3-9-5 is subject to a civil penalty. The purpose of these proceedings is to determine if such penalties need to be applied to the persons who have been asked to appear. Indiana Code provides that if the county election board determines that a person failed to file the annual report or amendment to the annual report or statement of organization by the deadline prescribed under this article, the board shall assess a civil penalty. The penalty is $10 for each day the report is late, with the afternoon of the final date for filing the report or statement being calculated as the first day. The civil penalty under this subsection may not exceed $100 plus investigative costs incurred and documented by the board. Ms. Conrad, can you please explain the notice of these proceedings that were provided to these candidates?
Sure. We provided notice, hang on just a second, I can tell you the date of the notice. We sent it by certified mail, and we sent it by regular mail. The notice went out, shoot, where did we get it out? Oh shoot, let me find that, sorry. Those were sent out on April the 12th. I actually even heard from several, I mean, we know that several of them received the notices because we have the waivers that came in. I believe that people began to get those as of April 15th or April 16th if they would have gotten it by regular mail.
Okay, thank you. Will further state for the record that any fines assessed by this board shall be payable within 30 days of this hearing date. Mr. Cotton?
Hello.
All right, and anyone else who intends to testify in these hearings, please rise.
You mean me?
Yes, sir. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Cotton, if you can step forward, please, so we're on the record here. Speaking to the...
Notice you mentioned annual report. This was asking me for my pre-primary report. My annual report was not delinquent. It may have been defective, as I did get some corrections that were made so quickly because they were so cosmetic, you know, that I didn't realize that I picked up a corporation form to put my individual contributions on. Something that was, you know, simple and easy to correct, had a timely, even a phone call, you know, whatever, to make that correction. I had no acknowledgement, didn't expect anything as a pre-primary, which is what I was sent. I did call Paul and said, why am I getting a pre-primary? You know, just not even expecting it. I was on time in January 19th, something like that, and would have made easy work as I did when I was made aware that this is actually not a pre-primary, but rather it is for my annual report, which was defective. When I looked in the list, I said, oh boy, how did I get a CF2, whatever it is? It's a 1 and a 2. I mean, I've done thousands of these things. That was just a really simple mistake. The numbers were all good. I think I did make, there was a couple blanks where if I have a newspaper subscription, I didn't put news in the little box. So, I mean, generally speaking, that was, I think there were 2 of those, office supply. in a little box in addition to office supply store, the nature of their business. So again, just in my haste to try to get it back in, not make this a big deal. But nevertheless, I mean, again, I fully will expect that, you know, I mean, like I say, I got this, I think I got it on the 15th. It was dated the 12th. And I think the correction was in almost either that day or the next day. So I think that when I talked to the clerk, she said that it would be from the date of this letter, and pointed me to my emails, which I looked back, and lo and behold, there was something in March, or something along those lines, that I was, you know, I had no, that's not for me, because I'm not looking at pre-primary. I think I clarified that with you too, Mr. Roush, that I was totally gobsmacked to think that there was a requirement, new requirement as a committee person, or you know, what do you call it, delegate, to have a finance report. So anyway, so that's where I am, and I think somebody said maybe $50, somebody said maybe some more, whatever the case may be. I certainly think that it was totally unnecessary. I don't want to echo the sentiment of the attorney who talked about the amount of time it took to, the amount of, that sounds so much better in the mic. But anyway, what are you going to do? I mean, like I say, that's pretty straightforward, pretty simple, you know what I'm saying? This is not something that's a problem, you know? I mean, if you need some help, Kennard, I'll help you next time with them. So, I mean, I understand these, and every point of correction that I've ever had, the one most substantial was to not put committee contributions in on the PACs. I think that was one that I said, thank you again, Kennard. So, however it may be. So what was your question, Paul?
You were going to offer some help, and
Hang on just a second.
go ahead.
I want to make sure you understand. Today, the reason you were sent the notice is yes, you did send in and submit your annual report in January, okay? That was timely, but then later you got a notice to make amendments to that. And so it was, once the office notifies you to make those changes and make that amendment, then the timeline ticks. And there's a deadline on that. And that, I think was March, right? Was that March when they got that?
That's something, it was dated
Okay.
March.
Okay, so that's really what this is about, is that notice that you got in March to make those corrections and get it back. And I just want to explain this just so you're kind of aware, because it becomes it's being late in making the corrections as opposed to having filed the report late.
You know,
Okay.
the corrections, okay, I understand.
Okay, all right, okay, I just want to make sure, because the fines are different, the fines are different. So,
I
okay.
have never, in my number of years, whatever I've done this thing, had that big of a gap between needing to make a couple of corrections, and I've been very conscientious about getting mine in on time ever since Jeff explained to me about his circumstance being 1 minute late going downstate and getting a fine, and me being maybe 7 or 14 minutes late. Wanted to get it in on time, know I can make the corrections. The corrections were just, you know, like I say, simple. I mean, it wasn't anything fundamental. It was simply a matter of, like I said, using an A2 versus an A1 in my expedience, however it may be. And so again, like I say, I did get a note, and I did fully well expect that it was something that wasn't applicable to me because of the time that I got it. When I get something that many months apart from the time that my corrections were submitted, and again, it says that it's Porter County Elections Board meet whatever on April 12th, and your committee report delinquent. Let's see, the board. This is let's see. It says the letter serves notice that your delinquency for your committee's pre-primary report that was due on April 12th. Didn't have a pre-primary report due on April 12th. I had an amendment that was, you know, based on something on time, not delinquent. However, the delinquency you're saying is because I did not perceive the notice, which was a couple months down the road. I thought it was all free and clear. I didn't self-check it. But either way, I'm at your mercy, and I will do whatever it is your wisdom is to how you want to conduct the business. So,
Monica, have the corrections now been filed then?
Tara? I believe so, because,
Well, yes, they have been. I mean, I just told you, I did it 2 days. As soon as I got it, I said, oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Do it to the C1.
the fine amount is $50, so that would suggest to me that 5 days late.
Well, I've got this on the 12th, and I submitted it, if the date is correct, on the 17th. So, the day I got this on the 15th, it's dated the 12th. 12th was a Friday, got it on a Monday, and then immediately, in my shock and in my, sort of saying what, I think, yeah, so whatever the case may be. So, you say 5 days, that's cool. And again, like I say, it's not gonna break the bank, but.
Or 7
same
days,
time.
sorry, 7.
Say it again, please.
I'm sorry, it was 7 days, sorry. Not 5 or 7. 7 days, but that's okay.
17th for
12? 7 days late, because it's $10, 5 days late, because it's $50 fine.
Whatever. Again, like I say, I'm here, and I don't really want to make long work out of this. I think I explained my case pretty well. Again, like I say, I don't have any, that's what I got. And now, I guess it's on you.
Hey, Bob, do you file the report on that online?
No, Jeff, I'm a
You
creature
still-
of
you're old
habit.
school,
And I
man.
can tell you every entry and every place on I know mine intimately, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, I think I said just do it that way, just do it that way. Of course, I've been tempted, but, I just, and I had a 34-pager. So-
Yeah.
So, anyway,
I think it's a valid question, because had you used the online system, then you would have been able to submit it over the weekend, and you could have saved yourself multiple days of.
yeah, but again, I'm not a big guy for being conditioned into that necessarily. I'm a sort of an old, like, what do you call it? Old dogs don't do new things. I'm comfortable, but, doing my thing, you know what I'm saying? Kind of makes me intimately familiar, keeps me closer to the people who are showing me love, and I'm, showing them love, however it may be, I just do it that way, so, and I've been sort of stubborn in my resistance to doing the technology thing, so. But I get that, Jessica. That has been a temptation, particularly as I look at the task of knowing that I'm gonna get a few red marks back, so. So it's like, but I've got an antidote.
You must like those red marks.
No, I don't. I do it in pencil, okay? I do it in pencil so that I can erase certain pages or fill in certain things, and, because I understand that the hawk will find something,
Do you have some testimony related to all this?
Yes, the actual defective report was returned to him in March, not on April 12th.
Yes,
April 12th was when he received
the letter from me.
from Monica. But the election division returned his actual defective report in March. After all of them were reviewed and
When you say returned by the mail?
returned by email.
Yeah, see, I wasn't looking for anything in email. So, again, like I say, it wasn't really returned. When you send me this, it was something at the post office and something in my mail. And again, like I say, a call would have been just an easy thing. I don't.
We don't have
Okay.
the staff
Yeah.
or the time to be able to make calls to everyone.
I'm not-
Let them know that their reports are defective or delinquent. I mean,
All right, well, yeah, I'm gonna get.
we had over 100 reports that were delinquent for annual reports. We don't have time to make a.
Mine wasn't delinquent.
I understand that, but
Okay.
if we start making defective calls, then we're gonna have to start making delinquent calls, and we don't have time for all of that.
So, that's fine.
Do enough hand-holding as it is.
I'm not looking for hand-holding. I made a simple mistake, and again, I'm not trying to understate that. It was, like I say, okay, and, so I'm willing to accept whatever the judgment is of the board, call it a day. Charge it to the game.
Well, my memory of all of this is that while we have tried to listen to people who have gotten in trouble for the first time and maybe had a track record of always being on time and they have circumstance,
This is his second late.
yes. When the second one comes around, it has also been, I think, the work of this board to just simply say, I stand. If I'm wrong.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good day. Am I good? Fine stands, right?
Well, we gotta make the motion.
All right, well,
Motion, if I'm wrong in that, I'll stand.
You're right, Mr. Chairman. I mean, second time is not negotiable.
well, the first time it was 7 minutes late. That was
Yeah.
the delinquency.
Yeah.
That was And again, like I say, it's all good, man.
First time we cut them in half.
You didn't cut mine in half. You didn't cut mine in half. It's all good. It was $50, but either way, mine wasn't cut in half. So you did cut several people's in half, but not mine.
Motion that the fine of $50 stand. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, the last one you have is with Mr. LaFada. And I have that his fine amount is $30, so that means he would have turned in a report. Is that right?
Yeah, it was 3 days late.
3 days late? But he hasn't paid, right?
Hasn't paid, this is his third time.
Third time?
And are there other fines still outstanding from those prior violations?
Well, I shouldn't say that, I don't think so, but
Okay.
not that they've let me know to tell you guys about.
Yeah,
I don't believe
know.
he's ever paid a
Paid,
fine.
right. I think
Yeah,
we
that's
have a
what I
lot,
was thinking.
I think we have a lot of other fines on that. I just don't know what all those are today without Sunday. So if it, you know, I know that this board has, when people have gotten proper notice, what the board has done in the past is to basically default them and give them the fine and leave the fine as it is. But that would need a motion and discussion.
All right, just for the record, I'm looking at last month's paperwork related to these hearings, and we show Mr. LaFada at an initial $200 fine for a 2023 pre-election. So I don't know if this one, the 30, is on top of the
Yes,
200
that's an addition.
reflected
That's an
in this
addition.
document.
Mhm.
So he's delinquent on a number of different separate accounts. I think this is a good place to open up discussion. What do we do about someone we continue to assess fines to and they don't pay?
Paul, before we get into that discussion, can we deal with Dane first and just default him, and then we'll go into the conversation so we don't lose track of that?
Sure.
Assuming that's the,
Yeah.
not the pleasure of the board.
Good idea.
You so motion?
So motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now we'll open it up to what do we do about it?
I have good news, and you can thank Jessica on this. The clerk's office, and if you give me a moment, I'll pull this up. The clerk's office has a contract with Eagle Accounts, and as part of their contract with the clerk's office, they collect fines like traffic tickets and what have you that haven't been paid. Jessica provided me the referral information. I followed up with them, and they are more than willing to take our findings and conclusions once they've been adopted by the board, and then contact people who have not paid, and then work that through a collections process, just like they do with any other kind of fines that are assessed by the clerk's office. So,
And they do that for a portion of the fine?
What's their fee structure?
Their fees are on top of the fine that they're already paying. So it doesn't come out of the fine. If they owe the clerk's office $92, they will pay over $92. And the clerk's office gets the $92, and then whatever their fee is on top of it is whatever their fee is on top of it.
So the delinquent campaign or candidate,
They pay that additional
they
money
pay the additional finders.
for making us go through that.
yeah, we'll have to talk about how that, because we may have to, we'll probably have to talk about how that works, because I don't know that the statute allows us to do fees for the collection piece.
I thought, didn't you read the statute that it says that it allows?
That is for, I thought that was on a different piece with regard to research or investigation. I don't know that the way I read the statute, I don't know that it allows us to get for the collection fees.
Well, they wouldn't be coming to us, they'd be going to the collections company.
Right.
We would get 100% of our fee, and they would get whatever their fee is.
And I just confirmed with Sunday that he did pay the $200 this month, but he now will owe us the $30.
Okay. So he's, okay.
Thank you.
So, see, as the statute reads, we can do the fine amount plus any investigation cost incurred and documented by the board. So we can do investigation costs, but I don't think it allows us to do collection costs. So what we may have to do is to back out of the fine whatever cost it is. That would be probably my thought on that.
I mean,
I didn't get into the details on the cost of that because that's a contract that I haven't reviewed or seen. Their explanation was they'd be happy to accept that as just part of the clerk's contract.
I mean, I certainly like the idea of using somebody to follow through to making sure that these amounts are paid. I mean, if 1 of 5, but if they have to take a percentage of whatever the fine is to account for their services, I'm fine with that. It is an open question in my mind to just make sure that whatever amount that they would be sending a collection notice for is something that's allowable under law. That
I can reach out to the IED and find out.
that would be great.
what to do.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, that's great, especially if they're already doing work for the clerk's office. I think it's a
Right.
natural extension of that, so,
Yeah.
Definitely the type of vehicle we've been looking for.
agreed.
Right. So, yeah, we can work on that cost issue.
Okay.
Okay.
The only other final thing is I have findings and conclusions from the board's determinations from last month with regard to delinquent, these were delinquent annual reports that should have been provided in January. These were 3 folks that we held over because we weren't sure about the notice. We held them over for an additional month. 2 of them came in, or at least a representative of one. The FOP came in, and then 1 did not show up at all. So we'll start with the one that didn't show up. That was Mr. Forrester. And I have the findings and conclusions. He did not appear, and the statutory fine was $1,000. So if the board would like to adopt the findings and conclusions, then we can add this to the other ones that we're looking at for getting payment on.
Do I have a motion to accept the findings and conclusions relative to Mr. Robert Foster? Also a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The next one is for the committee to elect Holly Taylor. Holly Taylor's husband came in on her behalf. There was a fine in the amount of $1,000. The board determined to cut that in half to $500, and these are the findings and conclusions that would document that we unanimously determined to reduce the fine to $500. And I'm not sure if that's been paid already or not, but that's the findings and conclusions.
You see in the spreadsheet, is updated in there that she might have shared with you?
I can look. I don't have access to that one.
So we don't know whether it's paid or not? I have a motion to accept the findings and conclusions on behalf of Holly Taylor.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The next one that you have is with the FOP Lodge 145. The representative did appear, and the board agreed to unanimously reduce the fine to $250. Okay. So this is with
This one was paid at what rate?
250.
250,
Okay. My notes suggest that we lowered it to 125.
Oh,
Maybe, I think it was, wasn't, I don't remember it being $500.
okay, okay, I can,
I think it went from 250 to 125.
Yeah.
At our meeting.
Motion to reduce by half 125 for my notes.
okay,
Okay.
I can make the correction on, right on.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept finding and conclusions on behalf of FOP Lodge 145.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
That's it. I know we will be having pre-primary election reports that are going to be due and reviewed, and I would assume that the board would like to have them added to the May meeting after the election.
Luckily, there was only one late report for pre-primary. So that was a good day. And that report's already been turned in. So,
Is
All
there a
right.
repeat offender?
So
Nope.
at this point, I'll
Is there
conclude the
brand new?
hearing on
brand new, so she can be offered a waiver.
finance reports. We'll move to primary election 2024 update.
I have the legals right here that will be printed in the paper. Thank you so much. If anybody wants to see them, I can pass them down. They have to go in with the minutes. And then inspector pickup is coming up. It's going to be May 4th, and it's going to be at 155 Franklin from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So it's at the new office. We're gonna put a sign up on the door here because people are so used to coming here to pick it up, their materials. So we're gonna put a sign on the door saying, hey, make sure you go to 155 Franklin to pick up your materials. And we're reminding them in an email ahead of time to make sure they bring their IDs with them. That's something new that we started a couple years ago, but we want to make sure that they remember this time.
9 to 1 on the 4th.
Yes.
And are we in a good place with poll workers then?
We are in a good place with poll workers, but as with every year, once they go to class, sometimes they get a little overwhelmed and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is not my thing, or they realize that they don't want to wake up and be there at 5 a.m. and they're like, it's not my thing. So we're still collecting names, still sending extra people through classes. It's good to have extras the day of, regardless. Train extra people, that way you never know what comes up. So that's what we're doing now, is filling the extras list.
Okay. Legals primary 2024?
Yep, that's what I did.
That's what you did?
Yeah.
Yep.
Inspector pickup we've done. Upcoming meetings?
So I should just change that to upcoming dates. As Tara already mentioned, today's the last day to request an absentee ballot. May 4th is inspector pickup. May 6th is the last day for early voting. It ends at noon. May 7th is election day. May 17th at noon is when we're going to certify the election, and we'll do that at 155 Franklin, so at the new office. And then right after that, we'll come over here and we'll have our meeting. We've already got the room blocked off. And then May 21st is when school board petitions start. That is new this year. Typically, it's in August, but they moved it up this year. That's all I have.
All right, any other business before this board?
We have received a couple sign complaints, and every time we get a sign complaint, I refer them to their local highway department or street department. That's beyond our purview as a board. So if you guys are receiving any sign complaints, that's the same thing I would recommend that you guys do.
I mean, signs that are putting easements or things like that,
Violation.
Yeah.
but no sign complaints about any language or?
No, it's not a disclaimer.
Okay.
It's just right-of-way
Okay.
sign, or, it was, that we had one that it was nailed to a light post or something, a NIPSCO pole. Yeah, like, there's really, I apologize, there's nothing we can do about that.
Okay, public comment. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all. We done.
Jessica, I should have asked during the meeting, for election night, we'll be back at the expo.
Expo Center, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
They're not saying a high turnout over
Let me shut this.
Yeah, Betty
there.
said
People are
it's,
turned off.
they're averaging, I would guess 45 a day at Chesterton County Hall. Something. I asked her every
Better
day,
to
she gets
speed
home.
them on the way home, finding that FOP.
44.
Yeah, ain't it? Especially from Portage, ain't it? I'm looking at him. Hey, man, help a brother out, you know? Those guys already know me.